I'm Hugh Gallagher, and I'm outside the Marcus Center for the Performing Arts, one of the better-known theater complexes in the city. It was built in the late 1960s and is home to 3 indoor stages and multiple outdoor venues. Hundreds of thousands of people visit the theater every year and enjoy a broad range of programming. At the back of the center is the entrance to the Todd Weir Theater, home to First Stage. First Stage has been around for 26 years and is one of the best children's theater companies in the country. Part of what makes any theater company great is excellent leadership, and First Stage has been able to count on at least one person for quite some time.
My name's Jeff Frank. I'm the artistic director at First Stage.
Frank talked about his role at First Stage and his numerous responsibilities there.
I've been the artistic director at First Stage since 2003. I arrived here in 1996, and I first was serving as the Academy and Education Director. An artistic director sets the vision for a theater. It's my job to choose the season of plays that we're going to select, to oversee all of the programming that supports that. So we look at a balance of trying to find really compelling stories to tell, and then my job is to assemble the best teams to articulate those stories and bring them to life. So it's a great opportunity. First Stage is different from other theaters for young audiences, specifically in the fact that we use young performers on stage. So we practice what we call age-appropriate casting. So if the show calls for a young person to be on stage, we will find the young people to be on stage. We have general auditions for young performers to be in the shows. Generally, we open those auditions to young people ages 8 and up. But occasionally there are shows where we broaden that age range a little bit. For example, this coming season, we will be doing the best Christmas pageant ever, where I need about 16 baby angels. So we're looking for young people in the 5 to 7 age range to come in and play those parts. So it all just varies on the needs of the show.
Working with young actors does present some unique challenges, and these are met keeping other priorities in mind.
Because we use young performers, we also cast 2 sets of young performers in each production so that they're not missing as much school. So there are more opportunities for young people, but more challenges in the rehearsal process because you have to remember what scenes you've worked with, what young people, and getting them all on the same page and sort of growing at the same rate towards opening night.
However, the challenges of working with young people do not prevent the company from undertaking a diverse and ambitious set of programming.
We can do shows for 3 to 6-year-olds. This year we did 5 Little Monkeys, which was a lot of fun, and we also did a new piece in collaboration with DanceWorks called Molehill Stories, which is inspired by the work of Lois Ehlert, who is a local author and illustrator. And that's another thing that I think we like to do as a company, find other arts organizations or other community organizations that we can partner with to create something new, to reach more deeply and more effectively into our community. And also this year, we're collaborating with Oregon Children's Theater, whose mission is very similar to ours, to bring a world premiere to the stage of Lois Lowry's Gathering Blue by Eric Coble.
After all these years, Frank did not hesitate when asked about what keeps him energized.
Every first rehearsal is the best moment for me. You find a piece that you fall in love with, and then you assemble that team. And the feeling of everybody coming in the room to begin the process of creation is really incredible. Daunting, with the fact that we have this huge responsibility at First Stage, because our productions are so often the very first pieces of theater that young people see with their families. So we take that responsibility very seriously to make sure that the theater experience they have is amazing, inspiring, exciting, thought-provoking. That's our goal.
Some of the cast of Jackie and Me talked about the experience of working on the show.
My name is Chauncey Thomas, and I'm playing Jackie Robinson.
Thomas's time with First Stage may not be especially long, but the company has already left a strong impression.
I've never worked with a company that is so good at incorporating children into their plays and the way that their relationships that they have with the schools. I just think it's really ingenious. I'm not from Milwaukee, so learning about this place was really interesting.
One young actor in particular left an especially strong impression on Thomas.
They're very talented. Like the last show I did here, I'd never worked with a child who had such an important role. She was the children were the leads, and the adults were supportings. And there was this 9-year-old girl, and she was like, "This is my first play," and she was better than I was. It's very humbling. It's great to see such talent. So I didn't start acting until I was 19, and just to see where these people are and how they develop, it's really impressive.
Adding to Thomas's positive experience has been the seriousness that the company has brought to children's shows.
I think there are certain topics that I think are challenging to relate to children in an entertaining way, and I think I like several things about the script, but there's a few moments especially in it that I think the writer deals with some pretty difficult topics in a smart way that's not pandering. I think it's a great story. I think it's a great company. It's very inspiring to see such talented youth.
One of the young actors at First Stage talked about his experience with the company.
Acting for me is a way to express myself in ways that I'm not able to do in other ways, through sports or school or anything like that.
The young actor went on to share some of the important ideas presented in Jackie and Me.
Jackie and Me, as our director Jeff Frank has told us many times, it shows America at its worst, but also at its best. Worst because people have been racist against African American people for a long time, but it also shows America at its best because it shows how Jackie Robinson has come into the world of baseball and shown that everyone is equal.
Fleischman mentioned some important lessons from history as good reasons to see the show.
People should come to this show because it portrays a lot of great American history through baseball and through equality among all people, and it's just a great story. It's an amazing production in my opinion, and I really think that everyone from age 1 to 101 would enjoy this play.
Just outside of Milwaukee's 3rd Ward is the Next Act Theater, located at 255 South Water Street. The Next Act Theater has 150 seats, all with unobstructed views and an intimate theater experience.
I'm David with Next Act Theater, and you're watching MPTV Student Ops.
The company has been part of the Milwaukee theater scene for some time.
Next Act is just finishing its 23rd season. Grace will be closing the official subscription season this year in April. 23 years ago, we were created by a merger of 2 existing companies, Theater Tesseract and Next Generation Theater.
Over those 23 years, Next Act has carved out a spot for themselves in the Milwaukee theater scene.
Since then, we've been producing off-Broadway style contemporary theater that certainly has entertainment value, but always has something underneath it that has to do with issues, social, cultural, political, putting something interesting on the table for people to talk about.
This thought-provoking program is staged in a theater designed specifically for Next Act's goals.
In creating this theater space here on South Water Street, we wanted to maintain most of that intimacy, of which our patrons had gotten used to. In fact, it's become our hallmark. As we say, intimate and powerful is really our 3-word motto. Our play choice here at Next Act is a little more aggressive than other companies in town, as far as leaning toward political, social, or cultural issues. And I tend to be, since the play choice is primarily my job as producing artistic director, I think I lean away from sentimentality and go a little bit more for a harder edge in the drama or in the way that issues are approached.
Next Act Theater is only 4 years old, but getting a lot out of the space has always been a priority.
One of the purposes for the space, we couldn't fill it 40 or so weeks out of the year. That'd be way too much for us. We built a facility that hopefully is comfortable enough and is small yet large enough for other groups to rent. We actually have a subsidy program driven by a foundation grant that helps us provide a rental subsidy for up-and-coming companies who can't necessarily afford the full rental rate.
Of the other ways to learn more about Next Act, David mentioned one as really the only option.
The best way to learn about us is come see our show. The theater is a live event. You only really know about it when you experience it.
You honestly felt like someone was listening?
No. Not someone. It wasn't a someone. It was more like everything else was listening. But it was more than everything else. It was like everything else was a someone. Somehow. And ever since that night, Sam, I can't help it. There is this big music I hear in things. Like everything in the whole world is all one big music. And I'm part of it.
My name's John Kishline. I'm an actor and a playwright and sometimes director. I've done a lot of things. I've worked with Next Act Theater since the first show I think was in 1996. Why do I act? Because it's a great way to express and dig into ideas that you care about, that excite you, that raise your passions and make your mind work and hopefully make the audiences respond to it. People and the aesthetic, the kind of plays David does, the questions he asks. I mean, all you can ever do with art is ask decent questions. People provide their own answers, especially in theater. So it's great to do theater that moves your heart and provokes your brain. Why should people come and see Grace? It's a funny play, it's a dark play, it's a smart play. It's filled with ideas and it's passionate and evocative.
Dear God,
Dear God,
I don't know why I was born.
I don't know why I was born.
I don't know why I have to die.
I don't know why I have to die.
I just know there's more of life right now that I need.
I just know there's more of life right now that I need.
And I'm asking you to show it to me.
And I'm asking you to show it to me.
I know I'm not perfect.
I know I'm not perfect.
I don't live up to my own expectations, let alone yours.
I don't live up to my own expectations, let alone yours.
Please show me your face.
Next up, we will swing by the Pink Banana. Pink Banana's home is located in the lower level of the Plankinton Arcade Building, which is part of the Grand Avenue, which is 275 West Wisconsin Avenue. They are part of what is called the Underground Collaborative, a space that was founded by 3 creative arts groups, Pink and Banana Theater Company, Milwaukee Comedy, and Studio Christelle.
I'm Matt Kemple, artistic producer of Pink Banana Theater Company.
For Kemple, his role is as much about support as it is leadership.
Just try to be available to all of our artists, playwrights, directors, actors, just to make sure that everything is, one, consistent, but also making sure that I can be available as a resource to help people if they need anything.
Pink Banana works alongside other artists as part of a Milwaukee-based group.
The Underground Collaborative, which is Pink Banana's home as far as office space and for some productions, it's a really unique environment. It consists of like-minded businesses that each operate independently, but they all share resources.
Between them, the artists of the Underground Collaborative cover a lot of different areas.
Pink Banana is working right alongside with comedy groups and artists, visual artists, sculptors, Zumba dance, and all kinds of things like that. It's really nice to have a lot of different artistic endeavors going on in the same environment.
Giving young artists a way to develop their talents has motivated Pink Banana from its beginning.
Pink Banana was founded about 9 years ago as a way for artists to hone their craft. We're looking for a way for actors, directors, playwrights to have more opportunities working in a professional theater environment. So we do our best to try to help facilitate those kinds of artistic people, and hopefully we're giving them opportunities in theater that they wouldn't have otherwise.
Its educational mission is only one part of the company. Audiences can also expect to find new and different shows staged by Pink Banana.
I would say Pink Banana is different from not just the theaters in Milwaukee, but it's probably different from most theater companies in the country. There certainly are other theater companies that focus on education and working with actors and directors to grow their abilities, but Pink Banana really focuses on trying to create theater that you just won't see anywhere else.
Producing that kind of theater means working with a wide range of artists.
A lot of people ask how can they get involved with Pink Banana, and we're very open to working with new and established artists. Some of the plays that we receive are from people who have never written a play before, and we do choose those pieces on a yearly basis for our One Acts Festival or for a staged reading perhaps to give those playwrights an opportunity. But we also have well-established playwrights that are published nationally that submit work to us, and you know it's very exciting to have those both dynamics. So this year's One Acts Festival is called Game Night.
Kemple talked about one of Pink Banana's most important yearly events.
It's about the games that people play, much like games in a relationship or otherwise, not just board games or darts or card games and things like that. This year's One Acts is going to be June 6th through the 15th, 2013, at the Next Act Theater Space, which is located at 255 South Water Street in the historic Walker's Point area of Milwaukee.
My name's Luke Erickson, and I'm Pink Banana's production manager, and I'm also directing for the 2013 One Acts. Pink Banana has a really good vibe about it in the sense that they go for kind of the off-kilter, the dark comedy, the drama that makes you just kind of have a question mark on your face, which I think is really cool because not a lot of theater does that. Pink Banana does it in a way where it's really fun and inviting, and it's very much about the collaboration, and they're focused on emerging artists, which is what I am, and a lot of people that I know are, so giving opportunities where they are able to grow as an artist is really important, and I think it's something that they do really well.
The way that Pink Banana makes decisions about programming shows how the company works collaboratively.
Yeah, my name is James Boland, and I'm the creative manager for Pink Banana Theater Company, which is in charge of running the creative committee. We are a nonprofit organization, and we run our organization in committees as opposed to an artistic director who would choose the entire season. I run the committee, so it's more of a group emphasis, and I sort of set the agenda and run the creative end of things, working with Matt Kemple and others.
Giving young artists the chance to develop is brought up early on in any conversation with the people of Pink Banana.
I'm Lita Hoffman, and I'm directing one of the One Acts in the Pink Banana One Act Festival. I think Pink Banana is really engaged in working with people who are just starting. I know when we had the audition process, they were really interested in getting people to come in to audition who might have not auditioned before. And they could frame that so that we can take people who are really experienced auditioners as well as people who could feel comfortable working there who really hadn't done much of that before. I know there are some actors in these One Acts who haven't done a lot of plays before. A place like Pink Banana gives people an opportunity to get in and do all of that. And there are people here who have a lot of production experience who are helping people with less production experience, technical aspects like lighting, sound, scenic design, all of those things, kind of get their starts.
A young director and actor talked to us about his young career and working with Pink Banana.
A few months ago, when I saw they had a notice out for directors for One Acts, and I'm sort of a fledgling director. I got back to Milwaukee early 2012, and so this is my first project with them, and that was a few months ago, and now we're ready to start rehearsals. What I like about Pink Banana is that they're all about finding young talent, finding local talent, and bringing that out through independent projects.
We're here at Comedy Sports, the home for Smithereen Production, who is producing Tim, Hedwig and the Angry Inch, M for M, 2.5 Gay Men, and Spiked Heel.
I'm Jacob Bach, and I'm the artistic director of Smithereen Productions in Milwaukee. Our main production is Tim, the improvised musical. We've been going with that since April 2011. We have Spike Heels, which is being produced by Mary Baird and stage managed by Mary Baird, directed by Becca Siegel. Hedwig and the Angry Inch, which I am the executive producer and director on. Ian DeTunk is the stage manager on that. We have 2.5 Gay Men, which is put on at Hamburger Mary's, and I am the producer on that. We have the M4M podcast, which Robin McGee, Brian Furcus, Ian DeTunk, and myself are all kind of co-producing that one together and directing it.
The story behind the improvised musical shows just how free and bold Smithereen is in the way they work.
Tim was an idea that I had that I went to Mary Baird with, and she looked at me and said, "We can try it." And I said, "Good." So we got all of our improviser friends together. We came together. The first rehearsal was just mind-blowing amazing. And it's been going ever since April 2011. Because Tim is the improvised musical, we get a suggestion from the audience. It's the only thing that we find out, really. So we come out right away and we ask, please give us a title of a musical that has never been made before. And the audience yells them out.
1, 2, 3. Shut up, Mara, you work here.
If we like one right away, we'll take it. Here's a little secret. If we don't really like it, we'll ask for 2 more and we have the audience vote on whichever is the good one. Besides that, that's the only thing that we know. Everything else we kind of discover as we go along. It's like watching a writer write a story for the first time. We wanted an outlet for people in the theater community and in the art community in Milwaukee, for them to go somewhere. Somewhere that wasn't going to try to be something that it wasn't. And we like to take risks with things. We don't like to take the safe way out of things. So when you go see a lot of theater, we felt as if people were taking the safe route with theater and there wasn't a sense of signature to what people were doing, and we really wanted to make a company and put on productions that were going to have their own style, that people could recognize easily just by going to see them.
On May 3rd, Smithereen premiered Hedwig and the Angry Inch, a show that originally made its debut in New York in 1998.
Hedwig and the Angry Inch was written and sort of originated by John Cameron Mitchell. The music was written by Stephen Trask, and it's a story about a boy who grows up in East Berlin, Germany, and he falls in love with Sergeant Luther. He's an American GI. He comes and makes Hansel have a sex change and take the name of his mother. However, because they're in East Berlin, when they get this sex change, it ends up being this botched surgery. So he's left with nothing but an angry inch. At this point, they flee to the United States. After a year, just leaves Hansel, just is gone. Now Hedwig, she starts to write music with her boyfriend. Boyfriend leaves her, just becomes unbelievably Rolling Stones cover famous with all these songs that they wrote. And she's stuck doing the Shadow tour of his national tour. And she's trying to reclaim her songs. And you meet her during one of her concerts. We have 2 main characters, and that is Hedwig, who is played by Jordan Gwizdowski, and we have Yitzhak, who is played by Mary Kelly, both of which are also in the improvised musical. And the band is the Angry Inch, and they also act as another character per se. And the show is very gritty and very punk rock. And Joe, who's the bassist for this show, as well as Tim the improvised musical, he owns a house with this basement it's very punk rock. There's graffiti all over the walls, cigarette butts everywhere. So we decided that we're going to take the production and we're going to rehearse down there before we take it to the theater the day before to tech it.
And who keeps everything working smoothly? That would be the other half of Smithereen's management.
My name is Mary Baird. I am the head producer and co-founder with Jacob Bach, Smithereen Productions. When Jacob and I started this company, it became clear very quickly that what my job would be to answer the phone calls that come at 2:30 in the morning, where Jacob calls me and says, "All right, so we're going to buy a church, and we're going to perform illegal shows in the church, and it's going to be the best underground theater of all time." And my job has been since the beginning to say, well, Jacob, I don't think that's going to work out, but let's figure out a way where we can do something. You know, my job is basically the filter for his completely out of the box ideas. Jacob and I started this production company as sort of an outlet for ourselves, because what we're doing is a non-traditional sort of theater experience. Tim the Improvised Musical is this crazy hybrid creature where it's half theater, half improv, half crazy, ridiculous live. And then we also, I mean, we're theater kids at heart, so we also want to be able to impact the theater scene. So to be able to create this production company to have an impact on that has been amazing.
Come here, Stan.
Stan. Yeah, I know your name's Bob. Stan, Tommy.
In all the appointment, I wonder if she read that or she just magically knew that somehow.
When she digested it, it must have gone up into her brain.